Your views and comments are welcome on the program. Remember to like our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and be the first to see as it happens. Watching TV on the go. Sly Media TV. Building bridges. Your views and comments are welcome on the YouTube channel and be the first to see as it happens. Watching.
Hello viewers, my name is Doug Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. This political party saying we've got it in the bag. This political party saying we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV will bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have a manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges.
Just about 1 out of 10. It's not proper. We must have the law completed well in advance.
Yeah.
My task that I was given was a very simple one, I think, to try and describe the it says progress update on electoral amendment bill. The progress, if I may say so, is that we've got a bill upon which all of us as a country are now focused to comment. The executive can present what it wants. Crisis Coalition can present what it wants. But at the end of the day, Parliament must sit and consider the proposals. And I think we do a good job of it. A lot of us across the political divide have an understanding, an appreciation of what it is that we would like to see in the electoral act, which in itself is a very important and good development. I also want to say that we are getting the correct signals from government in the form of the president. People may say it's not enough to say. It's not enough for him to simply say, but as a leader, he's giving direction to those that operate under him to do the work for and on his behalf. And also telling the entire nation that we require elections that are free, fair, and credible. As you have said, there is no unanimity on that definition and what exactly it means. And the prospect does exist even as of now, that whatever outcome we get in the 2018 elections, somebody will have something to say about it. But what we must then come up with a general assessment, starting with ourselves, not the observers. They are not the most important people.
Yeah.
We must have a system as a country where after elections we say, well, yes, there was this problem, that problem, but generally, let me use a hypothetical example. To say we have an election in this country and somebody decides to beat up an opponent, and that's the only incidence of violence in the country. It's improper, it's unacceptable, it's not conduct that is expected in an election. But will that be enough to void the entire election, or the election in a particular ward or at a particular polling station? So we then have to come sort of average things out and say, generally, would we say he won or she won properly? So we cannot expect an election that is 100%. I'm glad myself in 2013, my constituents had zero violence. But it also has to do with the leadership.
Yeah.
It has got to do with me. When I address my constituents, I tell them that if you engage in violence and you get arrested, don't talk to me about it. Just deal with it with the police. I may be a lawyer, but that's not my function to defend people who engage in this type of thing. So there is a role for literally everyone in the country to ensure that we have a proper environment. But it starts with the attitude. If you are a wife basher at home, you are likely to be a wife basher in your party, an electoral, what can I call, somebody who flouts electoral laws and engages in violence at that level. You can be very good at home and be a very bad politician, or be a very bad politician and be the best father yeah, exactly. I'm not accepting that term. It's a democratic country. But I'm going to wind up. I'm going to wind up and say that, yes, the minister has presented the amendment bill to Parliament. There was an initial postponement I think, requested by the opposition in Parliament because they wanted to look at the bill and have more time to consider it. Then I understand that there was a second postponement done at the behest of the minister, because a lot of MPs right now are outside. I should actually be at Ndrimbo in Chweshe, but I couldn't because I feel that this is a very, very important discussion that we're having. I was saying to Honorable Misiarambo, we should maybe just get married because we are always together every day at meetings. So yes, please forgive me. I just want to go through a few issues that why elections? Yes, elections. Like you said, even dictators want elections. There is nobody who stands up and says, no, we don't want elections in our country. They'll say, let's have elections, right? That on its own is important because it's a recognition that you need to be legitimate. And I don't think that the elections that we have now were necessitated by the need to legitimize the current government. We're always going to have elections in 2018. But I think we are now in a better environment, not the best environment, but a better environment in which we can carry out our elections. The signals that we send as individuals, as the media and so forth, all help to build up the outcome of the elections. If the media decides to be negative every day, I can tell you we'll have a negative election. So it is important. Let's continue to interrogate the laws even after this election. Let's look at the issue of the diaspora. The people in the diaspora have a legitimate request and desire to vote, which is in the Constitution. But we have not sat down as a country to understand the extent of that task. All of us, including Crisis Coalition, have not sat down to say, where are our people, how many are they? And Priscilla would want to know how many women are outside. Am I right or wrong? She wants to know how many women are outside in Zimbabwe, and in which location, and what can be done to ensure that they vote. Other countries have done diaspora voting, but they have not allowed everyone everywhere in the world to vote. Some have said people in the diaspora will vote for the president because maybe they also use our ward type of system. So they say you are not in a ward, but you can vote for your president. Others have decided, I think Nigeria is one of them, have decided that Nigerians in South Africa and another African country can vote, and they made the necessary arrangements. And recently here we saw an advert by the Russians and I think the Mozambicans. So it can be done, but you begin by dealing with the detail. As they say, the devil is in the detail. You need to understand the logistical requirements. How much will it cost? Like the example that I often use to say, if we have one Zimbabwean in Siberia, is it worthy and cost effective to make special arrangements for that person to vote, even though technically the Constitution says that person must vote? So those are some of the things that we need to discuss. So even after these amendments, which are not talking to the diaspora, we need to begin to immediately after to talk about the diaspora, so that when we get to 2023, 3 months before, we are not haggling about whether the diaspora should vote and so forth. It's work that I think some of the organizations represented here will need to talk about. There are a number of other matters that I could raise, but I want to respect the chairman and yourselves and thank you for the invitation. Unfortunately, as I indicated when I was requested, I'm actually late now for a 10 o'clock meeting, but I really wanted to listen to him, which I did. Now I know which party he does not belong to.
Honorable Charles, come on.
So thank you very much. I appreciate the presentation, the opportunity to express myself as chairman of the Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. Yeah, if I was using my other hat, there could be fire and brimstone.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you.
So I'll just sit a little bit, and then if I can be excused.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Please, I hope you are jotting your key questions and comments. Please allow me to welcome Honorable Msai Rapri and Honorable Monzora up front as key discussants to the presentation by Comrade Chas. They usually say that I have known Comrade Chas since the days of the liberation struggle. Please. That's right. Okay. And due to some serious time constraints, I will request my two delegates here and presenters to try as much as possible to be resourceful. I hope 10 minutes each will be sufficient.
Okay, thank you. I will start also because I need to run. If there's a time to which we are all over the place, I think it is this time. Because it seems like you have to be in 10 different places in one particular day. Thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak. But I think, like Honorable Chasi, I am a bit challenged because, and I said so when I was being invited to this meeting, I'm not too happy speaking on political parties nowadays because I'm not so happy with political parties myself, given where we are coming from and what is happening around ourselves as women in political parties. So I will speak a bit around the broader issues, and I'll let my colleague here, who is probably still interested in fighting the political party issues, speak to what we have always agreed as the bigger picture, because men are very good at keeping the bigger picture. Some of us are a bit angry and upset, and we lose the bigger picture perhaps sometime. But before I do that, allow me just to take a few minutes, because I think I've been in so many of these meetings. One, usually now my capacity as a member of parliament, and we get a lot of bashing. What are you doing? What are you not doing? What is this and this? And one of my biggest problems is that I think we also need to talk to civic society about yourselves. And I liked the first prayer by a reverend around beginning to find space where we tell each other the truth, because I think it's wrong. There's something wrong with making an assumption that everything rests on members of parliament, and for two reasons. The first one is that yes, we may have been late, and we agree, like Honorable Chasi says, in dealing with issues, and we take collective responsibility because we are there in the House. But also, I think even civic society itself, the agitation that we are finding now, where I'm being invited to 5 meetings a day, is an indication of the fact that, you know, you also slept on the job. If you had been putting pressure in the amount of pressure that you are putting now, we probably would have moved, you know, much faster and would have put more pressure. In fact, as political parties, I think we've been shouting hoarse over this particular issue, almost as lone voices, without the necessary support that was coming from civic society. Doc, you raised the issue about new dispensation or new dispensation. I personally have a problem with civic society because November 18, it was civic society that did not want to hear anything that was an alternative to saying, yes, Mugabe is gone, but there are more issues on the table. He can agree, Honorable Monzora, that we were almost lynched at the meeting. It was just 2 weeks after 18 November, isn't it, Honorable Monzora? The public opinion meeting, where we were still talking around, there are still things that we need to do. Mugabe has gone, but there are broader institutional things that we need to talk about. The entire room full of civic society did not want to know, because the road, we had gotten into New Zimbabwe and everything was fine, and you know, we had arrived. Only now you're coming back to us and saying, no, but we have not arrived, when we had been telling you all along. So that's part of our frustration with civic society, and we hope that on Tuesday, when these amendments are being done, we will find you in Parliament. We will find that gallery full. We will find you beating your drums like you were doing when you were asking us to do impeachment on 18 November, to show the amount of energy and passion that you have around this issue. Otherwise, you can't be throwing us there and saying, when we fail, you say, come and see us fail in the House, and look at the debate as it is going on. So I just thought that I would do that initially as a start to what is going on. In terms of where we are around the amendments, unfortunately, I forgot to bring the actual amendments that we have put in. Honorable Gonese is representing MDCT, but basically bringing the issues that we as opposition in the House has done, I think, a good job on raising what are the critical issues, and I'm sure Monzora will speak more broadly on those. So because I know that Monzora won't pick on the issues that I'm going to pick, mine is going to be largely around the gender issues and what we are saying around these electoral amendments as it relates to issues of gender. The first one is, we've said to ourselves, we are going to use this amendment to bring Section 17 in totality. So Section 17 is provided for in the Constitution. We are bringing it into the bill and saying, let it be the preamble to the Act, because the Act fortunately does not have a preamble. So we are saying that becomes the preamble. And if it becomes the preamble, it means everything else is guided by the principles that are in the preamble, with your gender equality principles, your issues around ensuring that any process looks at issues around equality. So that is going to be our first major issue, and we hope that if that is taken in, it will then make it easier, even if we don't get specific provisions in the Electoral Act that speak to specific gender mainstreaming issues. If the preamble is there, you can then use it to push some of these processes in. And we have the following issues as our main issues that we are putting on. Firstly, we are agreeing with the general issue that we need to look at the independence, impartiality, professionalism of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. But we are saying, in so doing, we need to ensure that even in terms of the people that work in ZEC, we need to begin to see issues around gender equality. We are arguing that optics matter, And we need to be looking at that. Then we are looking at the issues around voter education. We are agreeing with the general provisions around ensuring that we broaden the participants and participation around voter education, but we are saying that voter education needs to be gender sensitive. Even the pictures that we put around, again, we are saying optics matter. So that issue is an issue that we are raising. Then we are raising the issue around the nomination of candidates. One of the things that we are beginning to notice now with this very patriarchal bring in your CV curriculum vitae, which basically says you have to have had a list of where you worked, because if I'm a housewife, then what CV are you asking me to do? A lot of women has fallen out and they've not been able to be accepted within the primaries. So the few that have been able to get through this very difficult process, we are saying at nomination, we want to make sure that their nomination papers get in, because experience has taught us that it is at nomination that they also lose it. Men will sign for somebody else while you are holding your nomination form and you think you are actually the candidate of the party. So we are insisting that there be a counter signing of the nomination forms from the women's wing of that political party. So it's a specific provision that we are asking for. Then, of course, we have the big one, the 50-50 issue. We asked political parties to come and sign a gender equality charter. He's sitting there, he's Secretary General of one of the political parties in the House. He refused to come and sign the gender equality charter. And it's aspirational. We're not forcing them. We're just saying, progressively, you will ensure there will be a 50-50. We waited for him. He kept promising me, I'm coming. We closed. So ZANU-PF did not sign, MDC did not sign, MDCT did not sign. All the three political parties didn't. We had 14 political parties that signed. So clearly we have said to ourselves, these guys are not serious. They don't want to do this. So we are not going to be negotiating with them. We are asking it to be in law, 50-50. If you do not have 105 candidates out of the 210, then that list is invalidated. And like I said, this comes out of prior negotiations. We even gave them 30 days and said up to the end of March come in. They've refused to do so. So we have no choice but to do that provision. Then the observers, we have said the issue that Doc was raising, for us, definition of free, fair, democratic election is when the result is indicative that the genders are equal. So we are saying no observer mission should come in here and declare an election here that it is free and fair if it does not have equal representation. So that is one of the issues we are going to be raising around the issues of observers, and we are going to be asking them to also look at specific gender issues as they observe those particular elections. We have also said, as part of those that sit on the accreditation committee, we are insisting that one comes from the Ministry of Women and Gender to sit on that committee, so that we ensure that some of those issues that we are concerned about are dealt with. Then, of course, the code of conduct, which we understand will be attached to the act and will become part of law. We are saying it has to be explicit around some of the gender violations that we are beginning to see. The gender-based violence that we are seeing within political parties, outside political parties, have to be in. The hate speech that we are seeing, particularly on social media, if a person who wants to be a candidate speaks in the manner that they are speaking, as far as we're concerned, they can't be a candidate. So the Ace Lumumbas who are being so abusive on social media, it is not right. There has to be a line drawn around that kind of hate speech, whether it is in social media or elsewhere. We need something that is categorical, that says you will not be allowed as a candidate, or we will deal with the political party to which you are speaking on behalf of. And then the Chapter 12 commissions. the general one and the specific one that has been given in by the minister, which we are saying no to, around the issue of saying Human Rights Commission will be an observer. And fortunately, the committee to which Honorable Chas and myself sit invited the Human Rights Commission, and it came and it clearly indicated that they did not want the observer status because they wanted to do their oversight over the electoral process. So we are saying the Chapter 12 commissions need to stand as Chapter 12 commissions and independent enough to provide an oversight over the military, over the police, and not necessarily be given some role that is an observer role. So generally, we are in agreement with our colleagues over the broader issues, except that we have decided that we know they will not raise the gender issues, and therefore you find that on the amendments we found a little corner to raise the gender issues. But generally, we are in agreement with our male colleagues in the opposition around where we should go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable Monzora, you refused. Please proceed. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the organizers of this very important workshop. I also want to thank the two people who spoke before, the three people who spoke before me. I want to say that as MDC, we do not take this invitation for granted at all. And we want to thank Crisis in Zimbabwe Coalition. Let me start with gender and the MDC. The MDC is a social democratic party. We want to take over power through peaceful, democratic, and constitutional means. We want to take power, govern differently, and change the lives of our people. But coming specifically to gender and elections, in December 2017, I issued a circular to the MDC members regarding candidate selection. I repeated the same circular after the death of our leader at the beginning of, that was at the beginning of March. And I want the parliamentarians and the gender activists to have a look at this circular, and I will share it with you. And the circular says on the relevant part that please remember that in terms of the resolution of the Congress of 2014, we shall have 50-50. To that end, 50%, at least 50% of our candidates shall be women. I went further to say at least 20% of our candidates shall be youth. It becomes a double whammy for a young woman because she benefits from the first quota, that is the 50-50. She also benefits from the 20% quota, the youth quota. And she can contest any other position in the party. I'm happy to say that when the applications came, because yes, applications have to be made. When the applications came, we have an abnormal increase in the number of young women who want to be candidates. I was surprised that most of them want to be competitive. Yes, proportional representation, but you have seen quite a number of them coming in for the competitive posts. So, yes, we have. We may not have gone to Parliament at the invitation of to sign something inspirational, because we don't want to be aspirational. Sorry, we don't want to aspire anymore. We are specifically going to the nitty-gritties of the gender equalization process. I'm also happy to say that both the Human Rights Commission and the Gender Commission have been have indicated that they want to come and observe the election system, the internal election within the MDC, and we have welcomed them. The Gender Commission is coming, the Human Rights Commission is coming. In fact, we have accepted the Human Rights Commission's duty to supervise our primary election, to observe our primary election and issue reports. So we hope that this will dissuade electoral violence, hate language, tribalism, and all the ills that are associated with the candidate selection. I want then to go, Mr. Chairman, to those things, to raise the red flag. And I want to start by saying that the Zimbabwe election of 2018 is not going to be free and fair. It's precisely because there are key things that have not been done. There are key things that you do not see in the amendment at all. There are key things that you don't see in the practice. There are key things that you don't see ZEC and the government doing. In fact, when the European Union observer mission came to do the preliminary assessment, they came to the conclusion that ZEC is engaging in rule by law. In other words, what ZEC says is we will follow exactly what the law says. In other words, they are like a Shylock, a pound of flesh it shall be. They are not innovative. They don't look at the spirit behind the law. They don't look at those things that the law does not disallow. They only go to those things that the law allows. And the European Union found that ZEC was very, very wrong in that regard. So here are some of the things that the government has refused. The minister has refused to implement, and ZEC has refused to implement. First of all, ZEC, the government, and the minister have refused the external audit of the voters' roll. What ZEC has said they would want is an internal audit of the voters' roll. Now, for us, an internal audit is like you marking your own examination paper. We think an external audit will be good because it will give credibility to the voters' roll. Linked to that, although the ZEC had said that they will avail the voters' roll in April, it is clear that by the end of April, we will not have a voters' roll. And I need to remind you that there is a law which says that if a voters' roll is availed 30 days before an election, it cannot be challenged. And we think that ZEC is going towards that direction. Second issue is the issue of observation of the printing of the ballot paper. We have said as the opposition that we want to observe the printing of the ballot paper. We want to know the quality of the ballot paper. We want to know the vendor who is going to print the ballot paper, and we want to know how that vendor has been chosen. And we want to know precisely how many ballots have been printed. ZEC has said no because they've said it affects their independence. It interferes with their independence. The government has said no because it is a security issue. But we argue that ZEC is the one which provides polling officers. And they make people vote. But they are observers who oversee the process. That's not interfering with their independence. The same applies. We are not asking to be part of the printing. We want to observe the printing. We want to observe and test for ourselves the quality of the ballot paper, especially with the craziness of science that we hear, that it is possible to do certain things with certain qualities of ballot paper. So ZEC has refused. The minister has refused observation of the printing of the ballots. The media, again, ZEC simply says that the media, oh, he says I've got 80 minutes. Yeah, yes, the media, clearly the state media is not being open to the opposition and to other players. And ZEC has turned a blind eye on that. Fourth, the diaspora vote. Now, I wish Mr. Chasi was still around, because there is this lie that diaspora vote is impossible in Zimbabwe. And he gives the example of Siberia. Sorry. He gives the example of Siberia. Now, if we have a Zimbabwean embassy in Siberia, the people who work for that embassy in Siberia vote in Siberia in the Zimbabwean election. The people who work for the Zimbabwean embassy in London vote in London in the Zimbabwean election. The people who work in Pretoria vote in Pretoria for the embassy of Zimbabwe, vote in Pretoria in the Zimbabwean elections. Now the question is, what is the difference between a Zimbabwean who is working for government in London and a nurse employed in London? A Zimbabwean nurse employed in London. What is the difference between a Zimbabwean who is working for the embassy, that is the ambassador, and a Zimbabwean lecturer at Oxford University? Why should one vote and the other one not be allowed to vote? So there is diaspora vote in Zimbabwe, but this diaspora vote is discriminatory. It is only for those who work for the government, and we want it to be extended to all Zimbabweans who are outside the country. And as Mr. Chase was saying, the Russians actually advertised the 2 polling stations in Zimbabwe for the Zambian Federation elections. So there was a polling station in Harare, and there was a polling station in Bulawayo. And we went to government and said, even your friends, the Russians, are having diaspora vote. So there is no need to reinvent the wheel. The Mozambicans vote in Mozambicans elections here in Zimbabwe. The Malawians vote in the Malawian elections here in Zimbabwe. What is the difference? The only reason is that ZEC wants to disenfranchise millions of Zimbabweans outside Zimbabwe. Now, the following point is a good point that I don't think we are making well. And it relates to what happened in November 2017. Before the military intervention, so-called military intervention, Mr. Chiwenga went on the media in a press conference and made it clear that the military were intervening because of what was happening in ZANU-PF. The pages that were happening in ZANU-PF, the internal destabilization in ZANU-PF, the extermination of the Lacoste faction and the other factions, the Gamma Talks and so on, that was happening in ZANU-PF, was the reason, the raison d'etre why the military intervened. But you have to look at it from another angle. The military saw that ZANU-PF was looking more and more defeatable by the opposition. If Mrs. Mugabe was going to be the candidate, and if the pages had continued, ZANU-PF would be quite history come July 2018. So they had seen that ZANU-PF was becoming more and more defeatable, and then the military intervened. And they intervened to save ZANU-PF from disintegrating and therefore from being defeated. Now, when ZANU-PF gets to the receiving end of the electoral system come July, the same military will likely intervene. They intervened in 2008, they intervened in 2013, they intervened in November 2017. They can still do the same. Therefore, our demand is that this election, BAU, SADC, and UN guaranteed. In other words, we cannot have the same military men, the same police force, the same CIO being in charge of our affairs during the election period. And the government has flatly refused, arguing on sovereignty. Militarization of process. We have heard from Justice Chigumba that 18% of officers at ZEC are military people. And again, there is a historical reason why we say they must get out of ZEC. In 2002, General Zinawashe issued a statement that they were not going to salute anybody who did not have Liberation War credentials. And after that, the issuing of that fatwa, there was deployment of military officers to ZEC, to occupy positions in ZEC. And Mr. Sly Gwana is one of them. He was then deployed together with the other military officers to be part of the ZEC secretariat. And we are saying that they must move away because they are recipients of a command. And the command has not been undone, the command has not been reversed. And therefore the officers at ZEC the military officers as the ZEC must leave. The argument by ZANU-PF and the ZEC is that these people have since retired and they are entitled to employment. But we are saying they are recipients of an order that is illegal. Militarization of the process, we see that right now the soldiers are now in the raw areas. The military intelligence has been deployed, and some of them are drilling boreholes in Matebeleland and so on. They are now campaigning for ZANU-PF. Hate language. Hate language is something that is outlawed in the Constitution, but we saw hate language being engaged in by Robert Mugabe himself. In 1985, he said "Gobora iziguswa," meaning get rid of the stamps, meaning talking about opposition. From 2000, he was well known for his hate language. His wife came and even overtook him. But we see the new president is engaging in hate language. Tambai now pa social media, moarakasha pa social media. That is something you do not expect from the head of state. He is talking hate. He is inciting violence. No wonder why you have such strong language, such unprintable language that is being spoken on social media against certain people. But we want to assure civil society that as MDC, we remain open to criticism. We are not perfect. We have not done everything the way we should, but we are trying to correct ourselves. And you are going to see a more united MDC, a more rational MDC, a more gender-sensitive MDC. It is not in our character. It is not part of our policy that we should have people harassed on the basis of gender, on the basis of tribe at all. Zimbabwe is for everyone, and we aspire to be a party that is accommodative of everyone, and only history will tell.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Colleagues, please let's give a round of applause to our panel.
Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. This political party saying we've got it in the bag. This political party saying we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV will bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have any manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges. Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. This political party saying we've got it in the bag. This political party saying we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV will bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have any manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges. Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. These political parties saying, we've got it in the bag. These political parties saying, we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV, we bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have a manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges. Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. These political parties saying, we've got it in the bag. These political parties saying, we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV, we bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have a manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges. Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. These political parties saying, we've got it in the bag. These political parties saying, we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV, we bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have a manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges. Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. These political parties saying, we've got it in the bag. These political parties saying, we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV, we bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you out or you feel left out. If you feel you have a manifesto to sell, you can contact us on the details on the bottom of our screen. Sly Media TV, building bridges. Hello viewers, my name is Dog Vikela and you're watching Sly Media TV. This is 2018, the year for the harmonized general elections in Zimbabwe. The year the excitement is shooting over the roof. This political party saying, we've got it in the bag. This political party saying, we will have the majority. At Sly Media TV, we bring you a program that takes a journey. It takes a journey into who is representing who. Which constituency is he representing? Is he the right candidate? What does he have to offer? Hashtag the candidate 2018 will be interviewing your candidates from your different constituencies, be it senators, councillors, MPs, even the presidential candidates, and we hear their manifestos, we hear their promises. The good part is, as they promise, you will be able to interface with them. You'll be able to send your messages. You can even send us questions to ask them, what is it that is burning in your heart? If you are an aspiring candidate also, you might feel we'll leave you